Yo, what's up, guys? Alright, look, so you know I say like it's gonna be my last video and all that craziness, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, just so you know, it's 4 a.m. in the morning. I just got back from a battle event. I didn't battle, just a spectating thing. I left the battle event to go see the main event, watch the main event, went back to the battle, did my thing, back home, 4 a.m., and I'm here making videos, you know what I mean? It is what it is, right? You know, so let's put it like this. There's a few things let's get out of the way. Number one, it was not a fix. It's not a fix. If it was a fix, Anderson would have taken the easy way out, which is to tap to the leg lock, not to get brutally knocked out. So number one, it's not a fix. Clearly. A fix. It just doesn't make any sense. Alright, anyways. Number two. Anderson got what he got. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. Anderson, you know, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. He's been living by the sword the whole time. Clearly, Anderson has been bored in the UFC. And I'm not saying this to take anything away from Chris Weidman, but it's obvious. Anderson Silva is out there putting his hands down. Now, let me tell y'all the difference between today's playing around and every other playing around he ever did. All right, Anderson's a very good striker. We know this. He's the best in the game. We know that too. When Anderson Silva plays around and he's playing games, here's how he does it. All right? He's looking at the opponent. When the punches come in, he turns with them. All right? He's looking at his opponent. He's moving. He's moving. The punch comes in, he backs up with it. He's softening the punches that he sees coming. A punch comes in, he'll turn a little and cushion it. He'll chin into it. He sees it. He moves slightly out of the way. So instead of hitting him, or maybe he'll get hit in the forehead. No big deal. It's not as going to knock him out. All this, that's what he does every time. Plays around. And even if he puts his hands down, he's looking right at the guy. Watching the punches come. Gauging the distance. Watching it come. He got hit earlier. He laughs. Ha 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 ha. Then what happens is something that he's never done before. Which no matter how good you are, you're not going to be able to play around like this. He's playing, then he starts doing this stuff. And prolonged versions of this. And that's where he got screwed. Because at this point, he's back here. Chin right up in the air. And at the time he actually gets hit, he's actually like this. So now at this point, his eyes are completely off the target. He can't see his target. He can't see the punch coming. The punch that knocks you down, the punch that knocks you out is the one you can't see coming. The one that Chael Sonnen hit him with, that's the one that he didn't see coming. He thought, oh, Chael's going for a takedown. Chael went and came up the top. Then when he got back up, he looked at Chael and said, hit me. And he took them all. So instead of doing what he normally does, you know, all that good stuff, all that fun stuff, he got too crazy this fight. Too crazy. He went way overboard. And I've been saying this, even when he won. So don't try to say I'm making up excuses. Even when he won, I've been telling you he's bored in the UFC. Okay, because he's not fighting people on his level. Chris Weidman beat him, knocked him out cold, brutalized him. Chris Weidman's not on his level. Chris Weidman goes out there, and I'll tell you why Chris Weidman's not on his level, because he's not that level of fighter. He's not a $500,000 fighter. He doesn't have the same things that Anderson has. He also doesn't have the straight up natural talent. But in the first round, what happens? Chris Weidman gets him to the ground. Anderson's on his back. He's on his back, dealing with punches, watching everything come in. Chris Weidman goes to change spots, like I said about space. You know, he did some space. Anderson got in there. Chris Weidman tried to go for a submission. A lot of it was just to keep the position, use the submission to get back into the position. But then he said, all right, well, I'm actually going to go for the submission. He wasn't going to submit Anderson, like I told everybody. Anyways, Anderson gets out. They're back to the feet. All of a sudden, Chris Weidman's tired. Now, I'm not saying Anderson wasn't a little tired, but Chris Weidman was way more tired. And now, for the rest of the round, which is like maybe a minute, Chris Weidman goes for a takedown. Anderson just double underhook, shuck to the side, and move out. At that point, the fight's over. This is Anderson's fight. Now we're on the feet. That's it. Now, if you guys think that Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman are anywhere equal on stand-up, you're crazy. You're just Anderson haters. At this point, Chris Weidman is a bloody piece of meat in a shark tank. But the problem is, Anderson Silva didn't act like a shark. He acted like a clown, which normally works, but he also doesn't normally fight guys that are just relentless and gonna just go for those heavy hooks. You know what I mean? Even a guy that's so good like Vitor Belfort, he still comes up the middle, and Anderson's got the distance on him. And even in that fight, Anderson never did this. So basically, simple as that, Anderson had the fight in his grasp. This fight was never going to go to the ground again for the rest of the fight. So basically, what Anderson had in his mind is, I'll finish him if I can finish him with counterpunching. If I can't finish him with counterpunching, I'm going to dance on him. I'm going to dance. That's what he said. I'm going to dance. And he started to dance. And Chris Weidman said, we can dance. And Weidman caught him with his chin up, looking away from the fight, leaned back with zero defense. What can I say? To be completely honest, I would rather have him lose this way. I can take this loss, to be honest. And this has nothing to do with the fact that I do like Anderson Silva as a fighter, and I'm not a fan of Chris Weidman as a fighter. But we already saw Anderson take the best of Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman was on top for 4 minutes and gassed. He still kept the heart, though. He didn't give up when he realized, shoot, I'm stuck in the deep end with the shark. He didn't just start flailing his arms like everybody else. So, respect there. He didn't give up. Respect there. And he actually went and finished the job on the feet. But does anybody think that if Anderson Silva would have fought him like he respected his hands, Anderson Silva would have got touched? You understand? Anderson Silva was saying, hit me in the face. That's what he was saying. He had his hands down. Hit me in the face. And when he did all this, he was fine. Got clipped a few times. No big deal. But when he went overboard, started shaking his legs like he got hurt, trying to really get into Chris Weidman's head. And when he leaned back and started doing all this stuff, that was that. So, without going for too long, I'm good. I saw Anderson. I saw Fedor lose. Anderson lost tonight. But to be honest, Anderson lost in a way where it's like Anderson literally gave that away. He gave away the fight. Chris Weidman was basically there to say, you don't want to be champion anymore? You're going to just play a complete fool? Fine. Now you also get, see, here's the thing. There's a lot of people that want Anderson Silva to lose. By the way, when I said great white hype in the intro, this is funny. This one guy's like, I'm glad it's your last video. You said great white hype, racist. And then he was like, go away, nigger. And I'm like, do you realize how retarded that is? You're going to get angry with me. He goes like, I lost respect for you when you said great white hype, nigger. It's like, first of all, is that going to make me upset? Am I going to get angry? Somebody's over here doing this? It's not going to make me angry. But the guy said, I lost respect for you. So I said great white hype, which is actually a phrase, which is names of movies. The great white hype. That's like a phrase. That's what it is. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Chael Sonnen, and a lot of people, they don't know, but Chael Sonnen was the great white hype. He was the one that was supposed to come up and take out the top dude. Chris Weidman is the great white hype. It's not racist. It's what he is. Anyways, so people are going to say, I wanted Anderson Silva to lose and he finally lost. And then they're going to take this moment and let it, this is just a great feeling. whatever, man. Like, let's be honest. You know, Anderson gave the fight to dude. He gave it to him. With chin in the air, bow tie on the chin, not a bow tie, a bow on the chin. Head gift wrapped. Here, punch this. You know, Chris Weidman, all he had to do was be a fighter. And that's what he did. He did his job. Anderson Silva didn't do his job. You know, I can deal with it. I'm good with this, man. I'm good with it. You know what I mean? Anderson been bored. Now there's other people that are going to say stuff like, this is like finding out the Tooth Fairy isn't real. What do you mean? So you're saying that Anderson really isn't that good? Because he lost for the first time in 18 fights? For the first time in 11 title matches? You know, 10 consecutive defenses? Multiple weight classes? Number one pound for pound? But now he's not that good and you just found out the myth is... This is the myth? Anderson Silva is the myth now? Anyways, I can't even really... That's just another story. You know, it is what it is. So, alright, so let's recap. Anderson Silva, you know, shut down Chris Weidman. Or at least Chris Weidman shut down himself when he was unable to wrestle for more than 4 minutes in an MMA match, in a title match. So after Chris Weidman's body failed him, for whatever reasons, I'm going to just guess because he can't train the way he needs to, or he doesn't train the way champions train. Then, Anderson Silva decided to play a game of cat and mouse, and he was playing with Mighty Mouse and he didn't know, right? You know, Chris Weidman does have good hands. Powerful hands, not good hands. He has powerful hands. So, it is what it is. Am I done making videos? I'm going to make videos when there's a reason to make a video. You think I could say I'm not going to make a video and then Anderson Silva loses and I not make a video? Of course I'm going to make a video. You know when Miesha Tate's going to fight Ronda Rousey? I'll probably make a video. You know, big fights, I'll make a video. You know, things happen, I'll make a video. You know what I mean? Hit me up. I'm there. Hit me up on Facebook. Hit me up on Twitter. You know, probably just Facebook, to be honest. You know, that's it. So, there you go. Anderson Silva lost. Not the first time. Not afraid to lose. I didn't actually get to see his closing, his post-fight talks, which I want to, and I'm going to very soon, like right now. Because I guess he was talking all type of craziness. And like I said, man, you know what I mean? Part of the problem with what the UFC is there's not true challengers. And then you have, you know, guys like GSP who are so afraid to lose that they will just do exactly what they need to do every single time to make sure that they win. And I can respect that. But if he had true challengers, he wouldn't be able to just do that. And then you have guys like Anderson. Sorry, you have guys like GSP, and then you have a guy like Anderson who is bored and challenges himself by doing what other people can't or refuse to do or just don't want to do. I respect both. I respect both sides. The safe GSP side and the crazy Anderson Silva side. The safe GSP side still, you know, has to win 2 more defenses to reach the point of where Anderson was today. And he still has to win, 6, 7 more fights to get to the point where, you know. So, I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't actually change anything. It's going to be an immediate rematch. I'm not even sure that Anderson Silva is going to, they're obviously in the rematch, Anderson's going to say, okay, well, I want to stay on my feet. If I get taken down, then I'll get back to my feet. And I'm not going to play around. And Chris Weidman needs to realize that he gassed heavy, and he needs to not be a guy that gets tired in the first round in a title match in the biggest fight of your life. And his next fight will be the next, newest biggest fight of his life. So in the rematch, Chris Weidman needs to, be a professional and not get tired in the first round from being on top of Anderson Silva. And Anderson Silva needs to decide whether or not he wants to win the fight in a boring way, which to him means a non-challenging way. Can Anderson walk over after Chris Weidman's tired and light him up and end the fight right away? Absolutely. If you think he can't, then you're hating. But Anderson Silva, as he's shown in the past, he wants to play cat and mouse. He wants to put on a show. He wants to show, more. Anybody can knock somebody out, but nobody else is doing what Anderson Silva was doing. So there you go. There's my video. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, it is what it is. Whatever. So boom. Is the MMA analyst, aka 100 Bullets, aka Carson? Is he sad? Is he crying? Look at me. I'm good. I'm good. I honestly might not have been this good if Anderson got laid on for 15 minutes, though. I'm not going to lie. Or 25 minutes. Might have been a completely different video. But this video, I'm good, man. I'm good. So, Anderson Silva, keep doing your thing. Get out there, whatever. Let me watch this post-fight recap and see what Anderson's saying. And, yeah, there we go. MMA, it's important. Peace.